Okay, so now that we know the basics of graph sketching, right, the four things, you have your restrictions, intercepts, your asymptotes, and we mentioned many different asymptotes previously, and as well as your stationary points, right? I'm going to be going through the common type of graphs that you'll be asked to sketch in the A-level syllabus, starting from polynomial graphs, then going down to expo and log graphs, and then your rational functions, right? And I'm going to be giving you like a mental shortcut to actually remembering what to include and what not, right? So for the first one, polynomial functions, these functions is the easiest to sketch, right? Because if we talk about in terms of restrictions, in terms of intercepts, in terms of your stationary points, and in terms of your asymptotes, right? We have these four things over here. So restrictions, right? The thing is that there is no restrictions at all. That means for every x value, there is a y value. So polynomial functions are very clean, very simple. There's no restrictions. Intercepts, there might be, you just need to find, right? Or you need to observe from your GC to find out what's the coordinates. Stationary points have, right? And there are no asymptotes. So if you look at it, right, the only two things that you need to be concerned about whenever sketching any polynomial functions is these two things over here, right? So that's basically it. And I'm going to be showing you this example over here to drive home this fundamental concept over here, how to sketch. Then after that, you will practice the next one by yourself, okay? So we have a quadratic curve here. They want us to show the axial intercepts as well as the stationary points. So the way that we do this is very simple. Okay, we first draw this out, y, x. Now, as a JC student, just use your GC, right? It's a shortcut for you to use. And you please always use it, right? Don't waste this opportunity not to use it. Okay, so here is it. Okay, so you come back here, you click clear, and then now we key x squared plus 4x plus 3. And then we click the graph, it draws it out for us. So first thing, I will just replicate the shape. Next, intercepts. So how do I find the coordinate of the intercept here? Very simple. You click trace, you drag it here, right? Then here you click second, calculate. Now we want to find the value where y is 0, right? So you just click 0 and then you click enter, left bound, right bound, enter. It gives you the first one. So the first one happens at -3, 0. So again, -3, 0. Then the next one, just trace again. You go all the way here. Second, calculate 0, enter, left bound, right bound, enter. Okay, so this is an error because my left bound was actually on the right bound of it. So what we do is we click trace. Make sure that your left bound is really on the left of it, right? Because just now my left bound was slightly to the right of it. So left bound, right bound, enter. Here. So -1, 0. So I'll come back here. I'll click -1, 0. And then how about my y-intercept over here, right? This y-intercept, you simply just need to, it's a different approach because this one, we know that it happens at x equals to 0, right? So all you need to do is you click second, calculate, go to value, x equals, then you just click 0. So you get 3. So over here will be 0, 3. And they also want the coordinate of the stationary point, right? So the way that we do it is we go down to the stationary point, which is the minimum point over here. We click second, calculate, minimum. Left bound, right bound, enter. We get -2, -1. So we can just come back here and annotate -2, -1, and just label the graph as y equals to x squared plus 4x plus 3. And that's the final answer to this over here. Okay, so that's how we sketch graphs of polynomial functions. Just use your GC. It's a shortcut and it works extremely well. Okay, so now with that said, pause this video to try this out for yourself using your GC. And I will go through the answer together with you once you're ready. Okay, let's go through this question over here. Now I'm just going to draw this across. This is y, this is x. And then again, just going to plug everything into the GC. Okay, I clear this. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to key the equation. This is 3 over 100. And then here would be x cubed minus. Then you key this here, enter. 7 over 10. And here will be x squared, and then here would be plus 3x plus 4 graph, right? You can see that the graph is like that. But note that your GC, right, the default setting is this, but we know that this is a cubic curve, so we need to actually, we're not seeing the full curve over here. So that's one thing that you need to be very present and aware, is that even though this is shown on your GC, but this is not the full picture, because, right, you see, if I zoom out, you see that the full curve is actually like that. So please always check, okay? So if I sketch this graph out, it looks like that. 1, 2, 3, right? Okay. So if I were to sketch this out, it will look something like this. So it goes up, comes down, and then goes up, comes down, goes up. Now note that you can see over here, the maximum point is on the right of this line here, right? It's on the right side. So when you sketch it, make sure it's on the right. Yeah, there, here, okay? And if I zoom back in again, you can see that it doesn't go through the origin, right? So make sure your sketch is really accurate in those portions. So now what we want to do is we want to find out what are the XL intercepts first, right? So let me just zoom out again. And then now I will trace. Sorry, I will first trace it. Trace down to here, right? And then I will calculate the 0 value. Left bound, right bound, enter here. So the first intercept actually happens here at negative 1.06, 0, right? Just leave it in 3SF. So you can see that the first one happens here. Just leave it to 3SF will do, right? And then the second one, I just need to trace it again, and then I'll go all the way here, right? So since this is a cubic, it's normal to expect there to be 3 different intercepts, right? The next one is 7.41. So I'm just going to come here, 7.41, 0. And then lastly, I just need to trace it down to here, and then I calculate the 0 value. Left bound, right bound, enter. There would be 16.98, which is 17.0, right? So 17.0, 0. Next, I need to find out what is the y-intercept. So I go value, x is 0, I enter, I get 4. So I'll come back here, I will label this as 0.4, right? 0.4. Let me just make sure it's done properly. And then lastly will be here, right? The turning point. So this is a maximum point. So I'm just going to trace to the maximum point here. Calculate maximum. Left bound, right bound, enter here. So I get 2.57, 7.60. 2.57, 7.60 here, right? And then lastly, the bottom over here, there's one more, which is a minimum point. So I just need to trace down here, calculate minimum, left bound, right bound, enter. So I'll get 12, no, or rather 13.0 3SF and negative 9.402 3SF. As you can see over here, right? And then once that's done, just need to label as the equation that the question gave us. And that will be all for this question over here, right? So everything is done on GC, makes your life very easy, but make sure you know how to use your GC to your biggest advantage. Okay, if not, that's it. That comes to the end of this portion, and I will see you in the next video.